We are live. How about you, everybody? Welcome into this week's edition of the Auburn Live Call-In Show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Today is Sunday, April the 23rd, 2023, and I'm guaranteeing you that we have a fantastic show for you because all of our topics will be determined by our fantastic callers, our fantastic listeners, our commenters, not the commenters, not the commenters, but the commenters. That's one of those wrong the syllables in the wrong place or whatever. Jessica told me something that was really funny. Place the emphasis on the wrong syllable.
There you go.
There you go. Hey, yeah. I am joined as I always am most of the time by Mr. Jhead and Mr. Cole Pinkston. How about you, fellas?
How about you, brother? Or in the case of Johnny Knox 07, it's recruiting season.
Oh. Recruiting crashers.
The recruiting scratchers.
What a talented individual. I wonder if Zach has the power and the did I send it to our text message? He said he got me. Johnny Knox 07, folks, is a meme creator. He's a meme creation machine. Anyways, he's very good at these. He had me sitting on a bench, the Forrest Gump bench with a how about you. He had me and Jhead there with the Wedding Crashers.
The Forrest Gump one is just fantastic, man. It's so
that was
good.
Awesome. I've got it saved, man. I'm gonna have to use that one a couple more times before I ditch it. Hey, but we're gonna get into this, man. 701-779-9585. Y'all get on that phone. Go ahead and get in on the call line before we get to any calls, before we get to anything else we want to. I want to tell you about Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group, folks. And listen, let me tell you how Jhead, 5-star realtor right here, folks. 334-704-4442, Auburn, Opelika, Lee County. And, you know, we've always talked about our advertisers and that we're just not saying this because they're paying us money, man. We use these people. Keith bought a vehicle from Caleb Schofield. So we're speaking firsthand. Dude, let me tell you something. Before I could even get my house on the market, Jessica had 2 buyers, both offered and already under contract. I never stuck a sign in my yard, folks. That's how good she is, man. Give her a call if you're in Auburn, Opelika, wanting to buy or wanting to sell. She is the one, dude. She can get it done. I'm speaking firsthand experience here with the Talents Group. 334-704-4442. Give her a call. Tell her we sent you. Zach. Oh,
yes.
Hide your recruits.
And Cole so eloquently pointed out in our text group, dude, Jhead looks like a basketball coach on the sideline over there.
He does, man.
Wanting to know why that call was made.
That's my best Calipari impersonation.
He's about to call a T. He's about to call a timeout. Oh, my goodness. Good stuff there, Johnny Knox 07. I hope you're listening, man, because Nate Oates 2.0. He does. He got a little Nate Oates in him.
I wasn't going to say it.
Don't do me like that now. We're looking for some shooters.
If we're we'll wait on some calls. 701-779-9585. While we'll kind of catch everybody up on what's going on. Zach, you already got us one?
Already got a caller.
Let's do it, man. We've got stuff to fill in if we get a little down time.
4128 kicking off the show. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
What's Some people, you know, they call me $4 for $10. Jay Lee likes to call me the big alpha dog. Some others call me Logan Adams.
Oh, Logan! Logan's been sauced up all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'm nice and well-oiled machine right now, so been waiting for this one. All right. So I know it's just spring games, but you know, what I saw from Alabama yesterday, they looked like ass. I'm just going to say it. So I've heard Cole's predictions on our upcoming season. If we were to play Alabama tomorrow, I think we just beat the brakes off of them.
Oh.
But I want to know who you guys think that we are going to lose to at this very moment in time. Yeah, there's still some things that can change, but let's say nothing changed. Roster stays as it is. I know, Cole, I think you were teetering around the 6 and 7 wins. I want to know who those losses are going to be from. That's all I got for you guys. I'll shut up. I'll tune back in.
Okay, cool, Logan, because when you said something about Auburn beating Alabama tomorrow, if they play tomorrow, y'all know that Jonah Hill gif where he's at the Oscars and he's like,
Yeah. I'm right.
hey, Gary, cut this thing off. Logan been drinking the good stuff today. Oh, okay. 6 or 7 wins, Cole. Who are your losses? I think we've been over this, but it's always fun.
Yeah.
Well, when I give the 6 or 7 wins, I'm not accounting for what I consider toss-up games.
Yeah.
And I think, we pointed a few of those toss-up games out, which would be LSU in Baton Rouge. That's fair, right?
I think that's a loss, man. I'm gonna be honest.
I that's a loss for me too.
I got that as a big L.
I mean, there's no way we can't call Bama and Georgia losses right now. That's just where we're at. So those two, we'll call LSU a toss-up, maybe a loss. Texas A&M is a little bit scary.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it could probably go either way, contingent on what happens with Petrino and Fisher. You know what I mean? Because if that thing goes sideways, then don't think Hugh won't have us fired up coming off 3 straight wins, talking about let's close the gate and go looking for a fight.
Where's that A&M game?
It's in College Station. That's why I got it as an L that early.
My toss-ups would be like Arkansas, Mississippi State, Ole Miss.
So
it's hard to just call those a win, right? Isn't it hard?
I got Arkansas as an L, but I would call it a toss-up to an L because you're playing in Fayetteville. I got Ole Miss as a win. I don't think there's any way if there's one game Hugh Freeze has circled on the schedule, and look, I know we're going to say, he's not really looking forward to anybody. Dude, I'm telling you right now, he wants to stick it to Ole Miss and he wants to stick it to Lane Kiffin just as bad as I do.
Hold on. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If there's one game that Lane Kiffin has circled on his calendar, it's the Auburn game. And if there's anybody who wants to stick it to Auburn and Hugh Freeze any more than Lane Kiffin, I don't know who it is.
I agree. That game is going to be something to watch, Jay Lee. But I think injured.
The Twitter lead up on that? On Twitter. The lead up to that on Twitter?
Zach, nice little comment there from SS Austin. Not a terrible point. I'll give him that. I will give him that.
I would say
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that is not a terrible point. You know what I mean?
Get back to me on who the quarterback is in the fall, and I'll tell you if that's a win or a loss. Right now, I got that as an L.
That's another conversation.
They beat Arkansas with a third-string quarterback in Arkansas because remember their first 2 quarterbacks were hurt. So what's the third stringer coming into the season?
Oh, Zach, I know, man. I just can't look. There's something about that. Arkansas was overlooking that game. They're not going to overlook Auburn. You know what I mean? Like in my honest opinion, I think they played down to their level of competition. They went full Gus versus Jacksonville State mode. You know what I mean? Except they lost. I think Arkansas will be up for that game.
The good news is you have a California team that's sort of struggling. Samford, UMass, New Mexico State, and Vandy. So having Vandy as one of those conference games, that helps a little bit.
So that's 5 wins, right?
Yeah.
Should be. Yeah. You'd say 5 on that pretty confidently. I'd say Mississippi State could be a win because just, first year with Arnett, we'll see how that goes. It could be great. Could not, it could go either way. So
I got it as a definite win. I think they're going to struggle.
Do they have Will Rogers?
They've got Rogers, but they're switching systems completely. And that kid's never played in anything other than a Mike Leach air raid system. That's what he did in high school. That's what he's done in college. And now you're asking him to run Appalachian State's offense, which is a heavy zone run scheme. And you've never had a tight end. I mean, they didn't even have a tight end on the roster last fall. And now you're going to be predicated on using tight ends very heavily. I think Arnett's in over his head with that one.
Was he the DC?
He was. And he's a good DC.
He was a good DC.
Very good. But I think offensively that they're putting Will Rogers square peg into a round hole in that offense.
Seems like you don't want to change him up after he's had some really good success in the Leach system there. But he's a new coach. That's what he does. He's going to do it his way. So
sure,
that could be good or bad, right? We've seen that.
And then that's a great question, Corey Weber, because that's exactly what I was about to say. What we're saying right now, ask me again in a month.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Let me see what this roster looks like going into the summer when the transfer portal has closed, everybody's enrolled, and the roster has basically been set, especially the backfield. And Grayson McCall, listen, I was having a conversation today in Auburn with somebody of influence and knowledge about Auburn sports management, the lack of that program, right? The lack of that offer, the lack of that degree, and how much it's hurt. Speaking of Grayson McCall, Corey, how much it's hurt Auburn. And I said, not having that major, in my opinion, is going to cost Auburn at least 2 wins this year if nothing else changes with the quarterback room. Because in my opinion, Grayson McCall was coming to Auburn in December. He would have been there for the spring. He would have been – this team right now today with Grayson McCall on it would have been 2 wins better than the team I'm seeing today.
I agree.
So not having that program, that major, has cost at least Auburn to this date, in my opinion, 2 wins. And it probably would be 2 of these toss-up wins. An A&M, an Arky, an Ole Miss, to me, would now be wins.
I agree. Because, all right, and not just think about costing you the quarterback, but don't think there weren't some receivers that were looking heavy at Auburn and say, okay, who's going to be the quarterback that's getting me the football? If it's Grayson McCall, maybe their decision's a little bit different.
Hey, you remember Walter Rouse, the offensive tackle from Stanford?
Yep.
Yeah.
Was that long ago? Was that in December?
It was. December, January.
Yeah, dude, he couldn't – listen, Auburn's transfer academics, he would have lost 2 years' worth of credits transferring from Stanford. He couldn't – if he would have transferred to Auburn, he would have lost 2 years in his academic progress. So let's finish this up real quick, because sports management, I believe, in my opinion, John Cohen, that's one of his top priorities moving forward over the next year is to get that offered at Auburn. So these transfers can there you go, Corey. That's what I told this. I said it's hurting Auburn in basketball as well. Desi Seals tried to transfer, couldn't do it. So it's not just with Grayson McCall, but that sports management. I think that's what it is, right, Jhead? Sports management.
Sports management, sports and recreation management. I think.
Listen, these cats are here to play ball, man. We're not talking about sociology here, Nate Ramsey or whoever it was. We're talking about a legit major that these kids are pursuing while they're pursuing their lifelong goal of playing the NFL. Auburn doesn't offer that, and therefore it's hurting them. So I think this time next year, I'll be curious to see if that hasn't changed.
And man, that cannot be the reason you lose on a potential starting quarterback. That's Bush. It's Bush League. You can't do that anymore. Because you got everybody got that fixed. Okay, that needs to. You got to get that fixed. Bottom line.
Zach was saying in the chat, man, we reported today that Jordan Hudson, the former 5-star wide receiver from Texas, who played as a true freshman last year at TCU, has locked in an official visit to Auburn for next weekend. A couple of the commenters there are concerned that with the quarterback situation uncertain, how will that affect him being on campus next weekend? Maybe we have a little bit better idea by next week, because now that all the spring games are over with, I think there were 50-something spring games played yesterday. Spring game, to my knowledge, is done for across the board.
I think Maryland still has their game.
Oh, really?
I think they're the only one that has not played spring just yet.
Dang.
Probably because it's still up there, if I had to guess, something of that nature. They're doing it weather purposes.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it did. Do you think it hurt Auburn in December with Ra Thomas, with Dante Thornton, some of these stud wide receivers that were in the transfer portal and didn't choose Auburn?
I can't speak to Dante Thornton, but I can 100% speak to Ra Thomas and tell you it absolutely hurt us in that recruitment. Now, Georgia would have been tough to beat regardless.
Sure.
But I think if the quarterback situation is different, that is a much more competitive recruitment.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say 90% of it, at least everybody that we know of except Maryland. Maryland plays next weekend?
I think so. Let me cross-check that real quick.
I think it's been so slow, and the only reason, the best theory on why the portal has been so slow is because all these spring games. Hey, listen, if you don't think Hugh Freeze set his spring game at April the 8th, to give him a week to prepare for the opening of the transfer portal.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was a genius move. You've got all these other schools, Alabama and everybody else that played yesterday. They're 2 weeks behind. I'm sure they were working behind the scenes, but they certainly weren't able to put the time and effort that Auburn has been able to. And so we'll catch up on the transfer portal. Jhead Muskrat is in Auburn right now. He's going to leave early in the morning. Jaheim Thomas, the edge outside linebacker from Cincinnati, arrived today. Cole, my bad. I don't know if you put that up.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Yet, but
he arrived with his parents and a brother. I believe his brother plays wide receiver for Cincinnati, and I believe he is with them. And as long as he's with him, supporting his brother on this trip, I asked about that today as well. Another college player can actually be here. So Jhead Muskrat leaving in the morning, big time offensive line target. Man, he's got offers from just about everybody that is looking for an offensive lineman. Wisconsin, I mean, some of the Big Ten guys.
State, Mississippi State, A&M,
Michigan State. A lot of the Big Ten schools and some in the South as well. Jhead Muskrat, Dylan Wade, the former Tulsa lineman, former teammates together at Tulsa, was his host on this visit. And he's originally from Arkansas. And I think one of you two had mentioned Arkansas, potentially a team to watch with him.
Yeah, if there's another team involved, I would heavily involved like Auburn is. I would think Arkansas would be the other.
He's from Bentonville, man. I was trying to think. Auburn it was a wide receiver from Bentonville. Arkansas that signed with Auburn.
Yes.
Was it
I don't know. I'm going to come back to that because it was somebody good. Or they were a high recruit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll think of it, Jeffrey.
We'll come back to that. Bentonville, Arkansas, wide receiver signed with Auburn. So those two guys, and then Jordan Hudson, the former 5-star recruit, wide receiver, 6'1", 190, I believe is what he's listed. D'Angelo Benton, yes, thank you. Thank you, Bobby Lang. Thank you, Bobby Lang.
Louisiana, though.
That's who I was thinking of.
Okay.
Maybe D'Angelo Benton, is that why I'm thinking that he's from Bentonville? That might be it.
Listen,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Cody Burns was from like Fort Smith.
Fort Smith, yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking of, but that's not right.
But Bobby Lang, that's who I was thinking of. D'Angelo Benton. It might be because his
last name
Bentonville. That's what I was thinking of. He was a 5-star, I believe, at one time.
He was. Trooper Taylor got him. He originally signed with LSU, didn't qualify. Then Trooper got him the next year. And then 3 years from that, Trooper gave the infamous comment of, man, if D'Angelo was a horse, we'd have took him around the back and shot him. He needs to perform.
D'Lo. He was from Bastrop, Louisiana.
Yeah.
Bastrop. Yeah, I remember that. That was a big get. Went to Hargrave, you're right. And then Auburn got him out of Hargrave. Cole, if you want to post that, that's fine.
Yeah.
Zach, are we clear on the phone lines?
Yeah, all clear. We got some comments, though.
Okay, y'all give us a call, man. 701-779-9585. Oh, Johnny Caldwell, dude. He must be sober. Can't get through tonight, guys. Driving and I hope he's sober.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Keep dropping signal. Anything on quarterbacks in the transfer portal?
Rumor City. That's about it.
I'm still of the belief that Hugh's got his guy. And listen, that's just a theory of mine, dude. I have no concrete evidence or anybody feed me this. It's been so slow in that regard. He's been so tight, close to the vest with this stuff. Either there's nobody there or he's got somebody that he's waiting on.
Let me ask you guys this, and this is something I was thinking about. I read our very own Justin Hokinson's comments about his thought about the spring transfer portal. Do you think in any which way that the news on recruiting transfers is a little slower because the coaches are trying their hardest to get to April 30th without losing guys that they don't necessarily want to lose? They want to keep it as quiet as they possibly can.
Absolutely. I know this for a fact. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I feel the same way. And I think when you get on the other side of April 30th, you may hear a ton more news about what we're doing in the portal. But I think they are trying to keep that. I mean, look, they got to bring dudes in. They got spots right now. I think we've got 5 spots available. But I think they're trying to keep that as minimally as they possibly can.
Here's why I say that. Well, I've talked to 2 different sources today that told me the exact same thing. All right. The only reason that we're hearing and Auburn's bringing these guys in, like Hugh Freeze has been saying this all spring. We need another wide receiver. We need another jack. We need another interior offensive lineman. That's been, he hasn't hidden that fact.
No.
And there's my mom. I'm going to turn that off. God bless it, Mama. Hey, Mama. Hey, let me call you back.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. I was supposed to be home at 6 before the street lights came on. I swear I had this thing turned off. It is off.
She got some emergency call.
I think she does. Her and Brooks, they make it through. Yes. So those positions, the jack, the wide receiver, the interior offensive lineman, these are all positions Hugh Freeze told us all through spring that he was going to be. So it's not a secret,
right?
If there's somebody else they're bringing in, like quarterback. Maybe they don't want to lose the depth. Maybe you want to get it to April 30th before you even put out.
No, that's very, very good theory there.
So, what, another week? It'll be April 30th. The portal will close this time next week. You're either in or you're out. And this week should be either a lot of fun or very, very stressful.
I think it's going to be a combination of the two.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. Grad transfers don't fall into that window. So somebody that we may or may not know about that could be a grad transfer here, because there are a lot of kids, and this is a conversation I had with somebody that's in the recruiting business, and they said there are a lot of kids that have realized finish your degree where you are. At this point, there is no point in jeopardizing your scholarship. Finish your degree and then jump in. You're that much more attractive, because you don't have those same entry requirements that you would as an undergraduate transfer. So expect the market probably around 1st of June to boom some with some grad transfer news.
I don't think there's a progress towards degree for graduate transfers. You can take basket weave in times 4.
Sure.
Exactly. Ballroom dance.
I'll tell you what, you might be surprised to know. I know we see guys that maybe have like 3 or 4 years of eligibility jump in. You go, oh, that's something. Maybe you take a shot on a guy like that, but you also have to remember, if this guy doesn't progress or if he doesn't get any better and, he hasn't really shown anything in college quite yet, you're stuck with the guy. Don't forget that part of it.
Jordan Hudson, 3 years of eligibility.
Correct.
Because he can't transfer again. So you have to be careful on that too.
And not only that, the NCAA passed that new rule where you're stuck with them for the entire duration until they hit the graduation point. So even if they fall off your roster, like they can't play anymore, they don't want to play anymore, they give it up.
Yep.
Guess what, buddy? You stuck
lose
with
that.
I mean, so you got to be dang sure.
Right.
Yep.
Zach, you got us a phone?
Yeah, 2 callers.
All right, it's not my mom, is it?
5960. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
What's going on, son?
Kid Country.
Big
There
dog.
he is. There he is.
That's the kid.
What's on your mind tonight, big dog?
I see the market really stepping out of benches with saving, man.
You getting worried?
Me too.
I ain't really worried because no need to get worried.
DeMarcus Riddick for all.
Better have a good backup player.
I think
don't
that's
need to
fair.
get worried, but I know he pulled up the A-Day with Saban chauffeuring the wheel, and he stepped out the passenger side for the walkthrough with all the fans. That's tough, there, man.
Edward is talking about DeMarcus Riddick, the 4-star linebacker that's committed to Georgia. He's from Chilton County in Clanton, Alabama, I believe. He is committed to Georgia, but a lot of people, including all of us, I believe, think it's more of an Auburn-Alabama battle for him.
Yeah, and I'd lean Alabama pretty heavily right now.
DeMarcus Edwards talking about DeMarcus went to Alabama's A-Day game. He got the red carpet treatment, although there were a lot of top recruits there. Saban picked out his boy DeMarcus Riddick, took him under his wing pretty much the whole day. Rode into the game in the car together, and really pulled out all the stops. Edward, what you thinking, big dog?
Oh man, tell Cole I was like a groupie, man. I ain't know how to get y'all the video. I had sent it to Cole inbox on Facebook, man. I felt like a groupie. I was like, damn, man.
My bad, Edward. I don't check that thing, man.
But I got a scenario question for y'all guys, man.
Shoot.
The Porter don't seem like he Porter like what a lot of people assume it was gonna do right off the bat. I mean, you get a quarterback out of this. You get a quarterback out of it. Who's to say that he can come in and win the job? He behind the 8 ball right now, man.
He's definitely behind Holden Garner.
The guys that we got can't beat a Miller tier guy out who ain't even went through the spring with the team. We in bad shape at quarterback than what I really imagined anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But do y'all see us taking another quarterback out of high school? I know we got Walker White committed, but in our situation, do you think it's possible we take 2 quarterbacks?
I don't. Jhead does. I don't think Cole does either. Here's why.
No.
You got Henry. You got Henry Brown coming in out of high school. You got Walker White, who's going to be an early graduate. So you're going to have 2 freshmen on the team next December. You've got Holden Garner, who's a sophomore. He'll be 1 year ahead of those guys.
He's a redshirt freshman this year, so he'll be a sophomore. Absolutely.
So you're going to have 3 all Hugh Freeze quarterbacks. No, Garner was
he's a Harsin
guy. So you'll have 3
guy.
young guys. Bobo guy. Yeah, you're right. You'll have 3 freshman or sophomore quarterbacks on the roster. So I don't expect Auburn to take another high school guy.
I'll tell you what.
I was just wondering whether somebody else out there that maybe you bring Walker in, that's your guy.
Right.
But our situation, who's to say, depending on who's the starting quarterback is, you're looking at 1 or 2 of the guys that's already on the roster leaving anyway. So
yeah.
Between high school and Porter, next season, you're going to have to backfield. So I was wondering maybe it was somebody he might have had eyes on besides Walker.
My thought on it, Edward, is that he being Hugh Freeze, Kent Austin, and Philip Montgomery love Walker White and are happy to just bring him in rather than get 2 bodies. They think that guy can come in and compete really early. And they also think Hank Brown's got a shot to do the same, to get in the 2 deep, if Finley were to leave. So on the portal quarterback, if they bring one in, and I think they are going to, I still feel that way. I really believe that they want to specifically grab a grad transfer, a guy with 1 year or 2 years at the most. I don't think they want somebody that's young. I don't think they want somebody to come in there just in case, like what I said earlier, you may not like the guy, and then he's stuck with you. The scholarship is dead, basically. So a grad transfer would be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 1 grad transfer I want, man.
Who's that?
I stirred up a hornet nest on the corner the other day. Call out to Oregon, call Pat Nick, call whoever you got to call, and get the prodigal son back home. He built for what Hugh Freeze want to do, man.
You're not lying about
worst
that.
offensive line in Auburn history played behind 2 or 3 years, man. Bo Nix didn't get the credit that he deserved. He played in a messed up system under Gus, a system in Harsin that didn't fit his strength. What we doing on offense right now fit number 10, man. Bring my baby back home, man.
Man, it'd be what a great story that would be.
Oh, it'd be the story of college football. It would.
Hey, it sounds crazy, but it's like Cinderella, man. It feels like this is supposed to happen, man. I don't know why, but I know he got a lot of haters, but he's 3 times better than anything we got on the roster right now. So, and probably whatever you're gonna bring in the portal.
I couldn't agree more, and I
agree.
would love to see it, if nothing more than to see James Crepia's head explode 100%.
I'm like T.O., man. I'm crying. That's my quarterback, man. That's my quarterback. Bring it back.
Good stuff, Ever. We appreciate you, big dog.
All right, man. Y'all guys have a good night, man.
You too, man.
Yes, sir.
Oh, keep us going, Zach.
5776. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from? Five 776. You're live.
Ever scared him away.
Yeah, I think we lost him.
All right.
Well, then there he goes. 5776. Call back in. But James had a good question to follow that up, the conversation, while we wait for them to call back in.
If Bo played in a messed up system, which he did, why can't the same be said for Robbie?
Okay.
That's a fair question.
It is.
Very fair. I would say this, that as a pure passer, that Bo is a little bit more nuanced at this stage. Robbie's major thing to me, beyond the decision making, and Cole and I have talked about that ad nauseum, is that every throw is pretty much the same for him. Okay. It always looks like he's trying to turn two from shortstop every time he lets one go. What he's got to learn to do is layer throws a little bit better and be able to change velocity and apply a little bit of touch.
He's a thrower, not a passer.
Correct. He needs to become a more nuanced passer. I think that can come. I think really he needs a year of tutelage with Philip Montgomery, Hugh Freeze, and everybody else they've got on their coaching staff. I would feel much more comfortable if you did have a grad transfer that could at a minimum push him, at a maximum start for 1 year. And then if Robbie's ready at that point, let him take over, because he is an outstanding athlete. I don't think anybody will argue with you that Robbie Ashford has some elite tools as an athlete. And
best athlete on the team.
Yeah. If you can harness that and he can have the right mental approach and the decision-making can improve, then I think you got something there. But those are a lot of steps to take. Okay. That's not something that's just going to happen in the summer. That's a progression, that's a multi-year progression for him. And Robbie didn't play a ton of quarterback in high school. And last year was his real extended period of time playing football at the college level. I mean, I think he was a dual sport athlete playing a lot of baseball in Oregon. So I think another year of development and yeah, you could probably see him being really ready to step into that spot and carry Auburn to a very successful season. But right now, I think with Robbie Ashford as your quarterback, you're probably looking at 6-7 wins is about where you're at with it. And I'm not trying to be derogatory towards Robbie. I just think that's where he's at as a developmental passer.
Well said. Absolutely.
That's perfect. The question, right, Jhead, that we've gone over several times is, what is his ceiling as a passer? You could watch Bo Nix and go, okay, there's a lot there as a passer. The only problem with him, he didn't like to get his feet set in the pocket. He didn't have time to throw it a lot of times. That was a problem. With Robbie, sometimes it's like you're just inaccurate sometimes, and like you said, you're trying to throw it from the outfield when it's just a short throw and you got no touch.
Right.
And it's not all the time, but it's inconsistent. And how do you fix that? It's hard to fix. It doesn't matter how good of a quarterback coach you are. It's more of a tool, right? And we know that Bo Nix had a little bit more a better tool in that regard, and he's showing it now. And that's not to say Robbie can't get there. It's just going to be a tougher road, I think. And that's the way we see it from watching him throw the football, right?
Absolutely. And look, I hope the kid improves over the offseason. I hope that he plays up to his ceiling. But we just need to see that to be able to believe that's there.
Yeah.
Zach, did 5776 call back? All right, let's get him.
5776. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Full Feed. I'm calling between Elba and Brantley off the 189.
Oh.
Whoa, I know that part of the country.
Hey. What was your name?
My username is Full Feed. I got tired of people picking on me because
plus size. So I
Plus size.
I'm joining in with the fun and call myself full feet.
Full
Okay.
feet, as in like I ate a lot. I'm full.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, full feet. All right, full feet. I like that.
I like it, man. I like it.
What is on your feet
Well, I
tonight?
want to talk about first of all, I want to say I love you guys' show.
Thanks, full feet.
Been listening
Appreciate
to
it.
Used to get it on the podcast, but I'm working and boys,
My man's out there doing those crossroads.
Coffee County.
Is anybody forgot? I know y'all, but Auburn Nation, have you forgotten what he done with 30 days?
I missed it.
Basically 30 days in recruiting, and
Oh, okay.
he got us players we were never going to get. I think instead of we got too many people in the cookie jar, I think we got too many people trying to put cookies in the cookie jar. Leave him alone. And I really think that he's going to take us to the promised land.
He makes a good point. I know what he's talking about. He's talking about Connor Liu. He's talking about Keldrick Falk, Kayan Lee, Sylvester Smith. These are all guys that were not going to go to Auburn until Hugh Freeze took over, and then all of a sudden, they're at Auburn right now or on the way. So, yes, I don't think you can ignore that. That was a big deal. That was a big deal, and not Hugh Freeze and his new staff. Give them all credit. But yeah, man, you're right. I think that's something that could come into fruition again.
Full feet. Basically, Hugh Freeze in the little time that he's been here.
But imagine what he can do with 12 months in recruiting. Yeah. Look at all these guys you guys are covering. You think we would have got that been in those guys' doghouse 12 months ago?
No. Full feet's basically saying Hugh Freeze in the little time that he's been here has earned a little bit of trust.
Yeah.
Well, to answer Edward too on DeMarcus Riddick, and he's getting kind of concerned there, and I think you should be because Alabama's absolutely doing everything they can to get him, and that should tell you that they know there's more than one threat out there, and it's not just Georgia, it's Auburn too. So Nick Saban said, I better pull out all the stops for this guy, even though I got Jeremiah Beeman, Kevin Riley. I got all those guys here, but Auburn's making a push on this guy. That's what we've been hearing.
Yep.
That's good stuff, full feet.
I agree. I think that maybe Nick Saban or Kirby Smart isn't worried, but the old saying goes, they definitely have an eyebrow raised.
Sure. You got to be on your toes, right?
To steal line from my granddad, full feet.
I mean, I don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. They may not necessarily be sweating us, but they know where we're at in that room. You know what I mean? They know where Auburn is right now. I will tell you this, that the concern from Athens and the concern from Tuscaloosa was about absolutely nil with regard to Auburn and recruiting prior to Hugh Freeze's hiring. And now they know where we are. They know what targets we're in on. And while maybe we don't, get this young man from Shelton County, well, guess what? Sterling Dixon's on that commitment list of theirs too. And I promise you, if this young man commits, well, Sterling Dixon may slide on over to Auburn. So it's twofold here. He's not the only target on the board. And that's why you recruit multiple targets, and it's why you hit talent-rich states like Alabama and Georgia extremely hard, because these guys can't take everybody. And when you do start to load up in one specific position, that opens the door to other people. So just because it's, one person might be off the table doesn't mean that there's not multiple that are waiting to jump through that door.
Great stuff, full feet.
One of the most important things that Hugh Freeze said, I don't want to take up too much time, and I'm paraphrasing what he said. But when he gave over, he was talking about play calling and the offense and whatnot, and he was going to give that over to his offensive coordinator because he wanted to emphasize on recruiting. He's not an idiot. He wanted to emphasize on recruiting. I'm sure that's not something that he just absolutely wanted to do, but it was priority. He has a priority list. And those, when you said, and I don't mean this disrespectful, no disrespect, but like when you said that they can't take everybody, I honestly believe that people will leave him alone. Let him do his job. Let him earn his money. will be in that where we can't take everybody. I really believe that. Maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I got a buddy of mine that lives, breathes, and eats Alabama football. We don't speak on the week of the Iron Bowl. I mean, he has a Mark Ingram jersey that he wore in his living room. I mean, I call him the Alabama encyclopedia. And when they hired Hugh Freeze, he said, "Brother, I'm worried."
Yep.
So we'll see.
Full feet, we appreciate your call, big dog. Fantastic, man. You be safe out there.
So to wrap up the Robbie asked for Bo Nix conversation, this is the last question. I think we all know the answer to this, but I wanted to put a bow on it.
Yeah, put a
Kyle
bow
Sweat,
on it.
2019 Bo Nix better than 2022 Ashford. I don't think there's any question.
Yeah, he was better.
Listen, there's not many quarterbacks that 2022 Ashford was better than.
I gotta go back to something real quick, Jhead. I'm sorry. We've said this, but I have to say it again. Everybody agrees that when Cadillac took over the program, it got better, correct?
Sure.
I don't think anybody would disagree with that. Well, what happened to the offense when he took over?
Run heavy.
They took the passing game out. Said, let's throw that out because it wasn't working for us. Now, that's not to say Robbie cannot get that fixed, but at the time, it was the best option to do that, to throw it out and go, we're fixing to run the football because that's what we do well. And trying to make him, is what you say all the time, Jeffrey, square peg in a round hole, not happening. So that doesn't mean you need to do that again this year because you can't win a bunch of football games with that offense these days. You just can't. So they're trying to get that fixed where he can at least be, throw it 20 times or whenever or however many you need him to throw it in a game.
I think also in context, 2019 Bo Nix was a true freshman, and he had a 9-3 record, and he beat Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
And a shitty offensive line.
Yeah.
Right. Let's keep that in context, guys. True freshman beats Alabama in the Iron Bowl. 2022 Robbie Ashford would have been in college for 4 years. I don't think he beats Alabama in the Iron Bowl this year. I think that says everything you need to know.
2019 Bo Nix, man, looking back on it, listen, I remember how frustrating it was watching him run. It was frustrating, dude. And then you saw the glimpses of why he was the 5-star stud out of high school, right?
Yeah,
you saw
can
it.
always see it.
And so there was never for me, there was never I never went, you ain't the guy.
Right.
I never said that. I looked at Robbie Ashford in 2022, whether it was the wrong system for him or not, but I was thinking, you ain't the guy.
Well, people forget that 2019 team, we were one good drive away from beating LSU in Death Valley the year they won the national championship. Derek Brown was terrorizing people on the other side of the football.
Yeah. Look, if Gus had recruited the offensive line at all, that team is 10-2 or 11-1. You probably beat Florida in the swamp. You were a touchdown away. I mean, look, you were a missed pass from Bo Nix away from beating Georgia. Or at least tying it and going to overtime, right? That defense really carried us that year. And you still had playmakers on the outside in Seth and Schwartz. It was just, unfortunate in some other areas, most notably offensive line. And look, to all his credit, Boobie Whitlow showed up that year.
Yeah, he was good for what they were doing.
Yep.
And also Gus understood how good his defense was, and he'd send Carlson out there and get some points and stay in every game that way.
He did.
When Bo couldn't, get it together as a freshman. So there's a few things there, and there is context there where you could sit there and discuss it, but I think Jeffrey made the best point on that, man. There was no point in time when I went, okay, he can't do it. I was thinking, he's getting there.
Yeah.
He's getting there.
He's going to be good.
And you know what? We could be saying that about Robbie this year. It could be a transformation with a new coach, a new system. You just never know. But from the sample size that we got and reading the tea leaves of why you had to change an offense around in order to make the offense better with him at the helm, you go, it's just you don't feel comfortable saying he can really improve yet.
No, and look, there was measured progression with Bo, and the thing to me is there was never a losing record underneath Bo Nix. So he's 9-3 as a freshman, 6-4, and an all SEC schedule in a COVID year the next year. And then he has a winning record underneath Harsin, and Auburn has a winning record with Bo Nix until Bo Nix gets himself injured against Mississippi State.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not trying to be critical of Robbie here. I just think that people need to understand that why he is an exceptional athlete, and he truly is exceptional.
Yep.
That the maturation process is still underway with him as a passer, and that there's a ways to go to get him to where he needs to be from a fundamental standpoint, where he needs to be from a concept standpoint, and learning how to make those layered throws that we talked about. And if he does that, then there's a chance he's special. But he's got to do that. And you got to see it, and he's not there yet. Not in my opinion.
I agree. I think I don't think anybody would argue that Oregon got the better half of that trade, and curious to see how it ends up. I'm curious to see where this quarterback situation is a week from now. Hell, I feel like I've been saying that for about 3 weeks now. But like, yeah, ask me next week. Yeah, ask me next week. Yeah, ask me next week. Well, next week it's going to close, and I think Jhead made a good point. Grad transfer is still on the market, so TJ doesn't have to enter the portal before April 30th. He can enter it after the semester, even if he does at all. We don't know. We only hear things.
Sure.
Zach, are you waiting for us? You got somebody?
Yeah, call lines are blowing up now.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
You know, that Edward got that Bo Nix ball rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8861. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Kevin from Wilmer.
Kevin from where?
Wilmer, I think.
Wilmer, Alabama.
Okay, Wilmer. What's on your mind tonight, Kevin?
DeMarcus Riddick.
DeMarcus Riddick. Did we lose him?
I think so.
DeMarcus
Riddick.
Take your time, Kevin.
Hey Kevin, call back in, man. The phone was glitching out. I think we lost you. So just call back in, man. We'll put you at the front of the line. 4003. You're live.
Hey guys, I wanted to call in. This is Carter Malden from Brookhaven. Just wanted to tell y'all I got some great news. I got engaged last night, and I just wanted to celebrate by calling in, and just wanted to get y'all's thoughts on Mr. Kevin Riley right now. I know he's been taking some visits to Miami, and just wanted to see in Alabama, and just wanted to see where y'all think we stand, as well as with Cam Coleman. I saw where he went to A&M. So I'll hang up and let y'all take over.
Carter, first of all, congratulations. We think if that's kind of what you want, best of luck to you. I know. Hey, I'm in the same boat, big dog. So
I was thinking to say, aren't you? Yeah.
Congratulations to you, brother.
Kevin Riley, Cam Coleman went to A&M. I didn't realize that. Not that it matters.
Yeah, he went to their spring game, I believe.
Okay. And then Kevin Riley went to Tuscaloosa, I'm guessing?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, Kevin, I've talked to him several times. I think he's real close with Cadillac.
Hold on. We're talking to Carter.
Yeah. Kevin Riley is what I meant.
I'm sorry.
Carter, Kevin Riley. To me, he's got a great relationship with Cadillac. Obviously, Cadillac has done well getting running backs that he wants. So that factor is there. But the key factor here, and the one you need to continue to watch, if Alabama wants him, they're going to get him.
Yep.
I don't think there's any doubt there.
Okay.
And I think that's been sort of solidified in the last maybe month because of the 8A visit, but I think he's actually been there several times to practices over the spring. So only one visit to Auburn, and, when you're comparing visits, that's never a good thing if they're going one place more than another. especially when it's in the backyard there. So I think it'll be really tough for Auburn to win that one, but they are battling. We know that.
Hey, I will say this: what Hugh Freeze needs to get Auburn in position in the position of is Alabama fans going, Cam Coleman. If Auburn wants him, they're going to get him.
Yep,
that's bottom line. That's what you need the Alabama media saying on their call-in shows when people say, "Hey, what about Cam Coleman?" Hey, man, if Auburn wants that kid in his backyard, they're going to get him.
Sure.
That's where Hugh Freeze flips the script. And we still think. I don't have any doubts right now that we all think Auburn remains the team to beat for Cam Coleman.
Yeah,
just offered his teammate Red Morgan, who was up on a visit Friday. Forgot about that. And then let's don't forget about while I'm thinking about it, Jalen Crawford, one of the top cornerbacks in the country, made an unofficial visit to Auburn on Saturday. Teammates of Antonio White, teammate to Mike Matthews, more so with Antonio White. But Jalen Crawford is a stud cornerback nickel that Auburn is very much wants. So that keep us going, big dog. Good stuff, Carter. Congrats, big dog.
3365. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
Hey, War Eagles, Bo from Moody.
Oh, Bo from Moody. Where you been, big dog?
Oh man, I've been around, bro.
I hear you. Kind of like my first woman. My girlfriend back
another
in the day.
Receiver. I think he's from Cincinnati.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking at Auburn.
Cole, didn't you write something about this guy?
Receiver from Cincinnati?
Yeah.
I don't believe so. We talked about the edge outside linebacker from Cincinnati. That's the main guy, unless you're talking about Nick Mardner, who's already transferred there.
No. I know you're talking about the edge, but there was a receiver that came out today said he was looking at Auburn.
That's the kid from TCU, I think is who you're talking about.
Do you know that Tavares Dawson went to Cincinnati?
Yeah, he did. He did.
But
wow.
Hey, Bo, are you talking about who are we talking about?
I may be talking. Never mind. I'm talking about TCU. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Jordan Hudson.
Yeah.
Jordan Hudson. There you go.
Yeah. We need him, man.
Yes.
Yes, we need him.
It would be nice.
Yeah, this is one of those guys that there's going to be sort of a sweepstakes for. But Auburn securing an official visit is certainly, that's huge news. That is huge news. And, look, the depth chart is favorable besides, the question mark at quarterback. But,
Okay, I'll ask you one more question. Nick Marsh. Didn't we get in his top teams again?
4-star wide receiver from Michigan, Bo. He has already set an official visit to Auburn for June the 16th. So yes, Auburn is a definite top school for him.
Yep.
I hope we get him too, and Cam. I know. I don't think we're gonna get Perry Thompson, man. I really don't.
That's fair. I think that's probably the way Auburn fans should be.
Too, wasn't he?
I'm sorry, Bo. I was interrupting you, man. What did you say?
I said I think he was at Tuscaloosa too, wasn't he?
I would guess. I would expect him to have been at Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
But I don't know that.
Our 8-day game messed us up, kind of, man, because the recruits wanted to see a game, and we had a monsoon out there. Everybody else has sunny weather.
Oh yeah,
of course.
Story of Auburn's live, right?
Oh man,
hey, bro. Appreciate you, big dog. Appreciate you, Bo. Anybody else that?
Yeah. 8861. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
Kevin from somewhere, Alabama.
Okay, Kevin. Thanks for calling back, buddy. You were asking about DeMarcus Riddick, I believe.
Yeah, and Perry Thompson.
Perry Thompson. Two good guys to ask about.
Yep, definitely.
You want to know what the latest is?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we mentioned earlier, Kevin, I don't know if you caught this, but DeMarcus Riddick went to Alabama's A-Day game on Saturday, and Nick Saban really went out of his way to make him feel a priority. There were a lot of top recruits there, but it seemed like Saban took a heavy interest in Riddick and basically had him under his arm, at least for a large portion of the day or the pregame leading up to it. Even took him into the car with him. With that said, he's still committed to Georgia,
and he was at Auburn Thursday.
Sure was, man. It was a quick trip, is what I was told. It was a quick, just kind of like stopped in, maybe an hour or two.
Right.
And I don't know if he was on his way to Alabama or what, but DeMarcus Riddick, Kevin, he did visit Auburn on Thursday real quick. And sometimes those real quick trips say a lot more than people think.
Sure. Yeah. It's the effort, the effort to make the trip. And he wasn't able to make it to A-Day for, he said, for some reasons that came up. So he wanted to make sure he followed up with them and got to see them in person again and sort of checked out the academic side is what he told us. And he's looking sort of in the engineering field, and that he has some family that does. So.
And Kevin, Perry Thompson, Cole, what you got for Perry Thompson?
Well,
you went and saw him last week, didn't you?
I did. Again, the consensus, the thing that I take away from that trip was not so much what Perry told me, and he was, very complimentary of Auburn and seems to be following up with what he told us when at Auburn, which is it's between Auburn and Alabama, and that's really it. But the big thing to me was that every source that I talked to, whether it be somewhere near him or Auburn, they don't have an idea what he's going to do. And that's a good thing if you're Auburn. You don't want him to go, oh, he's going to Bama. You don't want him to say that. You want him to say, shoot, man, I don't know. And that's exactly what they're telling me. And we'll find out when you find out.
Yeah, Perry Thompson certainly want to keep an eye on Sterling Dixon, somebody to keep an eye on. I'm imagining Ryan Williams, 2025 5-star wide receiver, went to Tuscaloosa as well. I tell you what, though, Cam Coleman going to A&M, that's pretty telling as far as where Alabama stands with him.
I think it is.
Perry was in Tuscaloosa yesterday.
He,
But let's say this real quick, Cole. Cam Coleman didn't go to Alabama yesterday. He went to A&M.
Right.
Sterling Dixon didn't go to Alabama yesterday. He went to Colorado.
Yeah, he did.
Or I think.
Colorado, yeah. That's correct. Well, we've prompted Cam a few times. Who are your top schools?
Yeah.
Maybe besides Auburn. He's named A&M several times. He never names Alabama.
LSU.
LSU, A&M, and I think it's A&M, LSU. Clemson sort of in there, but I think he kind of gave a top three of sort of off the record, not off the record. He said it on record, but it was like A&M, LSU, Auburn.
Unofficially.
And Florida State, right? Wasn't that the fourth one that was in there?
Florida State's in there usually. But he never mentions Alabama, and I don't know if that truly means anything, but the intel that we get, too, is that Alabama's not a major player for that for him. That could always change. We know how that goes. But as of right now, it doesn't seem to be that way.
Zach, you got somebody else on?
No, that's it.
Okay, hey.
You quick hitters for
let's do some quick hit. Great stuff there, Kevin, man. Those two guys you mentioned, Perry Thompson, DeMarcus Riddick, man, those are two of these statement recruits that we talk about all the time. If Hugh Freeze wants to flip the script on the field, he's going to have to do it in the living rooms. Which comes first, we don't know. Cole thinks maybe the field would make sense. But if he's going to flip the script, he's going to have to do it in recruiting as well. Barando, Treywick. Hey, Cole or Jhead, we'll kiss my ass, Barando. What's your take on Landon Marshall? Meat Marshall from Andalusia, teammate of Fat Burnett. What's y'all's take on him?
I actually believe he could end up in Auburn's class in the end. I do believe that.
Late addition.
Yeah. I don't think they have to rush with this guy. I really don't. They can pretty much pull the trigger when they want and say, "All right, we're ready for you," and he'd probably be in. And that's not a slap in the face to him at all. I think they have recruited him and continue to. I mean, when I saw him at Auburn's A-Day game, standing out in the rain, he said he'd been talking to Jeremy Garrett all morning and that Jeremy Garrett met him outside. And so they're recruiting him, but is there a push for his commitment? No, not right now. But I do think they like him. I think he's a little bit undersized, but a good football player, no doubt.
Jhead 6'2" with cleats on, you think?
Probably.
Tommy Jackson, Josh Thompson.
Yeah. And he doesn't necessarily have the mass you'd want to play nose tackle like those guys did.
Right.
While Tommy and Stump Thompson were both, 6 foot pushing it.
Yeah.
And I was in class with TJ, so I know exactly how tall he was.
Opelika, right?
Yeah. Those guys had the girth and the mass to play over the nose, and you were in a little bit different of a system as well with Tuberville playing in a strictly a 4-down system. We're going to play some 3-man front here, and I don't think that he necessarily is going to be a prototype 3 for us.
Yeah.
Now, maybe he slides in. We decide to take him, but the thing to me is he's behind so many different guys, a Marcus Downs, a Jeremiah Beeman, several others, maybe even Terrence Hibbler at that 3 technique, 4-eye spot. And with that being the case, do you take a guy who's kind of a project or do you save that spot for the portal? And because of the evolution of the portal, my guess is that guys that are potentially tweeners, that keeps them from technically probably having a spot. You let them go to the G5 and develop. And if they develop at the G5, guess what, buddy? They're getting paid and they're coming to the major leagues. But I think with that evolution of the transfer portal, it makes it hard for kids like him to get that offer that they're looking for. Now I'm pulling for him. Everything I hear is he's a great kid. I think he is a very good high school football player, Cole. I agree with you on that. Very polished at that level. But I don't know that he's necessarily going to be a P5 guy or an SEC guy. Let me put it like that.
Who he reminds me of, real quick, out of high school, he reminds me of, if you go back and watch Marcus Harris when he was at Park Crossing, when he signed with Kansas and didn't get big attention. Marcus Harris was a good football player at Park Crossing. He just was a little bit undersized. When he goes to Kansas, they get him out there at the end, sort of a different look for him, and he does well. And then Auburn sees it and picks him up. I think Landon Marshall is a guy that could get a look towards the end of the season. If it doesn't work out, maybe down the road. Yeah. Because that's the way it goes now.
It is. It 100% is.
Yeah.
Logan, hey, this is good stuff, man, because I saw your question on the corner earlier, and I was about to post a story on Zaquan Patterson, 4-star DB from Chaminade, Madonna, down in Florida. He released his top 5 schools today, Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, Miami, and Auburn. So you've got 2 Florida schools, and then Miami, Ohio State up north, and then Auburn. Kind of the and he had been a guy I went back and read Keith's story. Keith Niebuhr did a story on him about a month ago, and this guy was he visited Auburn a couple of times last year for a couple of different games. He came up a lot. He actually told, I think it was in the story today, he's been following Auburn since he was 12. He's been coming back and forth to Auburn from South Florida several times. Came to several games last year, and I hear from them every day. I get texts from everybody. I get texts from the recruitment page. There's always something from Auburn. I don't go a day without hearing from somebody from Auburn. So he is an absolute target for Auburn. I FaceTime Coach Freeze, Coach McGriff, and as far as I've got to get back to Auburn. He will be back for an official visit. He hasn't, to our knowledge, returned this spring. But he told Keith that Auburn will get an official visit, and I think today he kind of backed that up with those 5 schools. I would expect those 5 schools to get official visits. Let's see, Leighton Callis on. I don't know if thoughts on Riley Leonard, the Duke quarterback, originally from Fairhope. Yeah, I remember him. And his girlfriend goes to Auburn. Last year's a sophomore, also 700 yards. Zach, you're shaking your head, big dog.
You muted.
I don't know why I was muted, but Just with some of the quarterbacks and like recruits, they'll find out where their girlfriend went, family, and that they'll have it all together, try to like connect all the dots. I was just laughing that he threw that in there.
Yeah. His birthday, Leighton. Now, this is not the first time I've heard this guy's name.
Right.
We've heard his name a few times, but I don't know if there's anything to report on him. Right?
No. He's not in the portal. Let's put it like that.
Oh, okay. He's not in the portal?
No, he's not in the portal.
And he's probably going to be the starter for Duke this year again, if I'm assuming. So there's like we talked about last week, there's no reason for him to jump in the portal.
I mean, it's one of the rumor mill guys that continue to float around. That's why we've all heard his name. It's just, I don't know if he's gonna. It seems like he wouldn't in this second window. If he was going to, it would have been the first window.
Well, let me put it like this: if Riley Leonard, for whatever reason, were to enter the transfer portal, Hugh Freeze would be on him like white on rice, brother. You can bet. Yeah, okay, absolutely. He is an absolute fit for a Hugh Freeze, Philip Montgomery offense, and there's no question about it. That being said, he's not in the transfer portal, and I'll leave it there.
Okay. Yeah. I will. Holler at me when he gets in.
Yep. If he gets in, right.
SS Austin. When would y'all expect quarterbacks to hit the portal, if any? This week. They've got 7 days.
This is the week for TJ because he's a graduate, right?
There you go. Listen,
he still could extend it.
Jay had said that earlier in the show, man. That's the thing. And Cole said he would rather have a grad transfer. Grad transfers aren't required to enter during this 15-day period. So just because something isn't done by next week at this time might be a good thing.
Right.
If you're Cole and you want a 1-year guy and you are a 2-year guy, some grad transfers have a 2-year eligibility window. So that might be a good thing. And then Robbie can't, if your goal is to keep Robbie without pushing him out by bringing somebody else in before then, that seems to be the ticket. Like that's the there's not a plan. Please don't think that I know anything. I promise you I do not.
And by the way, don't forget about Chance Nolan is a guy that's out there in the portal. And I think
Chance Nolan, I always forget about. I was getting my truck serviced at Lynch Toyota the other day, and old Frank was like, they're talking to that one guy, and I was like, which one? He was like, the guy from the Pac-12. I was like, Pac-12? Oh, Chance Nolan.
Yeah.
Yes, the guy I wrote about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yes, Chance Nolan. Yeah. I need to check in with him.
Is he a grad?
No, I don't think so. He's been in since December. He hurt I think he had an injury last year that cut his season short. So I think maybe that's a little bit of the hold up on him. Okay. But dude's got some good numbers, man. And if you take 2, he would be a fantastic second guy. Patrick is the edge from Cincy visiting this week. Jaheim Thomas arrived already. Patrick Cole actually put the story up earlier in the show. He has arrived with his family. He'll be here till I think early Tuesday morning. So certainly check out Auburn Live on 3 for all the updates on him. OC Web. There's a new clock rule, man. This is crazy. The new clock rule change. The clock no longer will stop on first downs, which as a member of the media, get my ass out of there. New clock rule will not stop on first down. Just Jhead, do you think this changes how Freeze and Montgomery call the offense?
Absolutely not. I think it actually plays to their advantage because they run a hurry up, no huddle, right?
Yeah.
So when they're in their tempo game, I think that this plays to their strength. They're a team that's already built to acquiesce to the changes that the NCAA is making. And look, I think they're probably good changes. When you think about, all right, this was done under the pretense it was going to help with injuries. That's not why they're doing this. Jay Lee, you just hit it 100%. So they can get more games on TV and they can cut down the length of games. So they can
not going over the 2:30, the 6 o'clock.
Absolutely. And the more programming, the more scheduled programming you can put on, the more advertising dollars they're going to get. But as far as Auburn is concerned, this doesn't hurt us all that much because we're already moving at warp speed anyway. So this change, while it may affect some play in-game play calling because you're not going to have that built-in clock stoppage, it's not going to overly affect how we execute our offense.
I think it helps us.
Yeah.
Like to a point, because the argument for the no huddle hurry up is that you don't give your defense enough rest, you don't burn enough game clock. Now with the clock not stopping, you can run no huddle hurry up, and you're still burning a lot of clock in between plays to a point. So I think it helps our time of possession running that hurry up, no huddle type offense.
Yeah, you score so quickly it doesn't take any time off the clock. Yeah.
Yep.
So a guy like Will Muschamp would love this rule, right?
Oh God,
Because you know how he loves high tempo offense.
Oh yeah.
He's screaming at NCAA, you got no guts, man.
But now, if it changes anything, they'd probably go faster more, right?
Yeah.
Seems to me.
Maybe.
And as a member of the media as well, Jeffrey, I hate it because I sit on pins and needles waiting for football season. I don't want them to take hours away from me, man.
Oh, I'm clocked in, big dog.
I get it.
Stephen Morgan, Robbie's Heisman. Hey, Stephen, let me tell you something, big dog. April Fool's was 22 days ago.
Let's go 10%.
Or what?
10%.
You're saying he's a finalist, a top 10?
No, a 10% chance at a Heisman.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, you remember this?
Yeah.
No.
Look, on a scale of 1 to 100, I'm giving him a 10.
Wow.
So if everything comes together for him, like, look, if the dream season happens for Hugh Freeze and Robbie Ashford becomes everything that people think he can be, I'll give him 10% on that.
Does he have the potential to be a Heisman candidate?
Because of the dual threat ability and the stats he can roll up in a Hugh Freeze type offense. If he gets to where he needs to be, because of the way they use the quarterback, I will say 10% chance. 10%.
Wow. I would say there's a 99% chance Robbie Ashford does not win the Heisman.
Okay, so you're
Okay,
giving
so
him,
yeah,
you're
no.
giving him a 1% chance.
1%
I
chance.
give him 1% chance to win the Heisman as a quarterback. I give him a 5% chance to win it as a receiver or running back.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. My bad, Steven. I thought it was a joke.
I did too at first, but here we are.
Yeah, but here we are. Oh, Kyle Sweat wants to know quick. We jumping on Chris Chick Dawson. If he entered the portal from FSU, Chick Dawson, I'm not familiar with him. Y'all probably
That
are.
would be Tavares Dawson.
Yeah, that Chick's his nickname, Jay Lee.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, I see what he's saying. If a guy in the same mold as Tavares Dawson hit the portal from Florida State, would Auburn go after him, is what he's saying.
No, because he meets all the same requirements as every other receiver we got on the roster right now. We're looking for outside guy. Look, I like Tavares Dawson. You know what I mean? But the kid he has trouble catching the football. Let's be honest. And he's a smaller body receiver. Those are two things Auburn has a plethora of right now.
Yeah. Got a lot of those guys on the team.
Right. We need larger outside options at wide receiver to create diversity in that room. We don't have enough of those guys.
I noticed Hudson is 6'1", so I'm guessing he could play a little outside.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You just need a little bit more of a physical presence. Is not necessarily the jump ball guy like Landon King or Fairweather, but just somebody that can create separation not only by speed and push somebody off when they're trying to press, that kind of thing. They're lacking that a little bit. Camden Brown, that's your guy really for that, but need a couple more.
Man, Connie Friday Dobbins makes a fantastic point here. Look at what Borges did with Jason Campbell. Do you not think our offensive coaches are just as capable, or is that truly the talent level is just not there? I think it's a fantastic point. Jason Campbell, up until Al Borges, was a 5-star borderline bust. And listen, I was just on Jason's show, so I love Jason Campbell. And I would never tell him that to his face. But this was the guy. Listen, Jason Campbell, first of all, I'm doing what I'm doing right now because of Jason Campbell, Carnell Williams, those 2000 and 2001 recruiting classes that Tupperville signed. I was like, oh, my God, like you can go on the internet and find out who Auburn's recruiting. Like, who's going to be the next guys? Like, oh, my God, Auburn got a 5-star quarterback from Mississippi. Like, oh my God, like, oh, I can just pay like $8 a month and find out all this information. And that's when I started. That was my first really 2 classes that I started following. And it was awesome classes. Jason Campbell, Ronnie Brown, Carlos Rogers, all those cats, Jay Ratliff. So, anyways, I think this is fair, Jhead. This kind of go. So that's why I said earlier, does Robbie have the potential? Jason had the potential. We thought, and Borges came out and put him in the perfect position to succeed. Put him in the perfect system to succeed. Probably had some better support personnel, but Cole, knowing this, maybe I up my 1% to 3%. Because I do think Robbie has talents that a lot of kids don't have in this.
Absolutely.
And if he could learn to be a passer and not a thrower, and you give me the Robbie Ashford from the Iron Bowl.
I tell you what, probably. Okay, this is a good.
I can't believe we're talking about this. By the way,
it's a good talking point.
It is, but I still can't believe we're talking about Robbie Ashford as the Heisman.
No.
Oh no, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
Nick Marshall, okay, is a guy who is not a quarterback. There was no way he was ever going to go to the next level and play quarterback. Not going to happen. But in the system he was in, he was awesome, right? Absolutely awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that helped him
should have been
a
in
lot,
New York.
Right. One of the things that helped him a lot was tempo. Why? Because he was really good at just being a playmaker, and he didn't have to think too much about it. He had, they had the NASCAR offense or whatever. I got 3 plays here that we can run when we get a first down. I'm not thinking too hard about this. And they had a good offensive line and good things going, but okay. Well, Robbie's about to be in a completely different system here. It's different. There was no tempo in the other system. I think tempo can help him. I truly do. But here's the difference between him and Jason Campbell in my mind. Jason Campbell had potential as a quarterback, right? Robbie has potential.
First round potential.
Right. First round potential. And started for years in the NFL, right? Robbie has potential as an athlete. That's why I say 1% as a quarterback, 5% as an offensive skill player. Because, man, if I was to give that guy advice, do it. Go play receiver. You would be awesome. You would be awesome at that. I really believe it.
So you think Nick Marshall is just a better quarterback or was a better quarterback than Robbie?
Yeah. He was fairly accurate when he threw the football.
I think Nick had elite down the field arm talent. He was able to drop it in a bucket 50 yards down the field.
He was.
Now, like Cole said, he was never going to play quarterback in the NFL, but Nick Marshall had arm talent, for legitimate arm talent. I think Robbie's got some arm talent. I honestly believe he can be developed as a quarterback. I believe that. And Cole, I hear your point on him being an athlete, but I think he can be developed as a quarterback. The difference to me right now is, speaking specifically to Connie's question, Jason Campbell had weapons around him that Robbie Ashford does not have right now.
That's true.
He doesn't have Ben Abamanu on the outside, or Devin Aroshima, or Anthony Mix in the slot.
Cole Bennett.
Yes. Cooper
Taylor.
Cooper Wallace.
Courtney
Taylor.
At tight end. Right.
And then who you got in the backfield?
I
was about to say, you got arguably two of the best Auburn running backs of all time in the backfield too.
So not just Auburn all time, but 2 top 5 NFL draft picks in your backfield. That was an elite Auburn team. And legitimately, if the NCAA weren't cowards, they would be national champions right now.
If Auburn's athletics director wasn't a coward. Not you, John.
No. But listen, that Auburn team was absolutely loaded. Loaded. This Auburn team is right now just trying to get us back at a competitive level.
Respect.
Where we can look across the state and, we can look them in the eye and say, we're not scared, guys.
Right.
We're trying to get to a bowl game. We're trying to get back to 8 wins. That's where we're at right now as a program. Now, I believe Hugh Freeze is the right guy for the job. I think he's going to put the talent in that room that Jason Campbell had on his team, but it's going to take time. And I think people need to understand that.
Hey, John Knox, I want you to know, dude, I had your question pulled up on my phone. I was getting to you. He's asking it here, too. This is your boy, Johnny Knox, 07, Jhead.
Hey.
All right.
And he asked on the corner, can Bruce put together a roster for next season that can push for a Sweet 16 run or better? Same question here. I think it's a great question. As far as basketball is concerned, let me catch everybody up real quick. Denver Jones is signed with Auburn. Chaney Johnson signed with Auburn, Friday? So there's your 2 and a 4. Chaney Johnson can play the 3, but I think he's more of a 4. So you've got Aiden Holloway and Trey Donaldson at the 1. You've got Denver Jones and KD Johnson at the 2. Looking for a couple of 3s, in my opinion. You've got Jalen Williams and Chaney Johnson at the 4. You've got Janai Broom, Dylan Cardwell at the 5. Leo Berman's in there somewhere, but you're really looking for 2 3s right now. A couple of guys being Matthew Cleveland, Jalen Tyson from Texas Tech, and there's oh my gosh, are you on hold?
Who?
Zach, see if you've got
Oh, we shut down the phone lines.
Oh, for real?
After that last caller.
8030.
I can pull it back up. Hang on.
This is the great thing about the Auburn Live show. You get to see behind the scenes
telling
up
you.
front.
But to answer the question for Johnny Knox, why Jay Lee's getting this straightened out, to me, I think it all depends, like you said, on what they do at the 3. Right now, you've upgraded immensely at the 2. And not only have you upgraded at the 2, but you've been able to retain to this point your starting 2 guard, who's an absolute spark plug off the bench for you. So you've got bench scoring coming back. If you can land the Tyson kid from Texas Tech, now there are other options that may be potentially coming into the portal, but if you can land him, in my opinion, because he's an elite defender and an elite shooter and spacer, yeah, that's a team that can compete for a Sweet 16 berth. I firmly believe that. And while some people may think you need another veteran point guard to go along with Trey Donaldson and Aiden Holloway, I'm actually encouraged by what I saw from Trey towards the end of the season. And I love Aiden Holloway's game. Yes, I think it's going to take him a minute to get, familiar with playing at the level of competition he's coming into. But I think towards the end of the season, he could be playing his best basketball. And really, to me, it's how much does Trey improve? Because if he improves to where I think he can be, it helps us immensely.
So you got us one more caller, Zach?
Well, no, they can still call the number. So if you're watching the replay, they can still call in even after we close the call lines.
Oh, really? So there's no way to get another caller on?
Well, no, they can't. They just call back in. I got them right here.
All right, put it through.
8030. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Oh no!
How about you?
We need to know who this is.
8030. You're live.
Come on,
man! The suspense is killing me right now.
I know. Yeah.
Is he still on?
Yeah, we're still on here.
Mm.
Tell them to call back. I'm gonna drop it off, and they can call back in. Now you got us all curious.
I know. I'm dying to know. I think I know who it is, but I'm also dying to know.
So I agree with Johnny, with Jhead, Johnny Knox. I love what Bruce has done in the portal. I love Denver Jones.
Yes.
Love Chaney Johnson.
Yes.
I love the guys coming back. I love the potential of what they could add at the 3 spot. And I think they could turn it around. They just won 20 freaking games in a first round NCAA. tournament game.
Yeah, real quick on that. And I love the pickup of Kenny Johnson because when Bruce is in his bag, it's when he's evaluating guys that are not necessarily your prototypical 5-star type players, 4-star type players. He loves those Island of Misfit toy type guys, man, where they fit his system. And he really, really evaluates undervalued talent better than
Jhead,
most.
give me the example of one of those guys, because I'm not the basketball guy here, obviously. Who's somebody he's had that fits that description?
Bryce Brown, who was a low-level 3-star, saw him. Jared Harper was a low-level 3-star until he went to Peach Jam and absolutely blew up, and everybody started to call his phone after he'd already committed to Auburn. Samir Dowdy was a low-level transfer from VCU. Malik
here.
Huh?
Real quick. We're going to
Here we go.
Caller on 8030. You're live.
Oh, no.
This.
Turn down your background. You know this has got to be like a defensive lineman or something, right? Or an old guy who doesn't know how to handle technology.
I think y'all got this mistaken for the wrong person. This is Walker White.
Oh, hey!
Nice. Oh, yeah. We expect more from a quarterback, big dog.
That's awesome.
All right, Walker, what's happening, big dog?
And I'm I think we're still in Jackson, Mississippi. I'm on my way back home to Little Rock, Arkansas. I just got done training down in Mobile, Alabama with David Morris and a bunch of other quarterbacks.
Ooh,
perfect.
How did it go?
Went very well. We got to Eli Manning came down and helped train a little bit as well. So that was a very cool experience getting to work with him. He showed us a little bit, and he had a huge emphasis on feet. And so I feel like that's kind of what I need to go work on and master that.
Awesome. Walker, man, we've had a lot of interest in this class, man. I know you're out there front and center doing. I'll never forget you telling me you were coming to A-Day, but you didn't want any type of attention. You wanted to give some to the other guys. And how do you feel like this class is coming together, man? You guys got 5 commitments now. Martavius recently committed. I got a feeling a couple of more guys are on the verge. But so far, man, what's your take on this class?
Yeah, honestly, if we can just secure like a few guys that I personally really want, then I feel like this class could end up being a top 10 recruiting class in the country. And I agree with you. I feel like there are certain people that are on the verge of committing or will like kind of know that what their top 3 or 4 are, and they're just kind of waiting it out to get further into the year, maybe all the way to the season. But I feel like right now, 5 commits, and we already got a lot of good talent on roster for the 24 class. And I feel like if we just can continue to build off of that and get guys like starting with even like O-line, like Casey Poe, William Satterwhite, guys like Kevin Haywood, Daniel Calhoun would be huge, Ethan Callaway, Jameson Riggs. Like I have a great relationship with all those guys, and receivers like Perry Thompson or Cam Coleman. And I'm also trying to get some another running back, Kevin Riley, and the tight end Carter Nelson along with me. And so if we can get those guys, it would be a very dangerous class, and I'm working pretty hard to get them with me.
Walker, is there any position you're putting, making more of a priority? You talked about those offensive linemen. We feel like we've been covering this Auburn program pretty closely and for several years now, but it feels like the offensive line needed the hell. We were even talking about Bo Nix and Robbie Ashford, and how important is that offensive line for a quarterback to be able to sit back there and make your reads?
It's very important. If we can secure some O-linemen and have some dogs up in the trenches up protecting me, then I can do my job sufficiently. And that would lead me to get the ball and the athletes that are downfield, give them the ball and make the playmakers make plays. And if we can just get a line that can smash guys up front when we run the ball and protect me when we pass the ball, it'd be very important. And I feel like we have our eyes on some guys that are very important and can really do the job for us if we can get them. And I feel like I have a great relationship with those guys, and I have high hopes for our O-line class. And it's just really important to get those guys because it all starts up at the front. The center touches the ball at the beginning of every play, and he gives it to me. And I gotta trust them to protect me from the guys that are wanting to kill me. So you need to have a great relationship with those guys, great chemistry. And, I believe Coach Thornton is a great O-line developer. I feel like he really knows his stuff. And I have full confidence that he'll develop those guys with what they already have to become just dogs up front. That's what we need.
Jhead.
Hey, thanks for joining us tonight, Walker. Really appreciate it. This is Jhead. So you mentioned QB country earlier, training with David Morris down there in Mobile, which is obviously really big for your own personal development. But we've seen where you're going to be competing in the Elite 11, the regional coming up in Atlanta. Can you kind of talk to us about that and what you're looking to get out of that process and how you kind of think that can help your game?
Yeah, so last year when I went to the Elite 11 in Nashville, I loved it because I got around so many guys that were from different parts of the country, and you got to compare yourself and you got to really compete the whole day. And that's what I'm kind of looking forward to in Atlanta. I'm really excited to go there. And actually the day before the Elite 11 the Elite 11 regionals in Atlanta, I have my spring game. And so we have our spring game on the 12th, and then we're driving down to Atlanta for the Elite 11 on May 13th. So that's going to be fun. And I feel like it's just very important to focus on how I like compare with these other guys. And even if I can learn from the other guys that are in my group, that would be great because I'm always looking for new things to add to my game, add to my toolbox, if you will, and just continue to build off of what I have. And, there are some quarterbacks out there that are better at things than I am, and such as like feet or fluidity in their motion. And sometimes I like to observe those guys and see how they carry themselves when they're throwing the football and kind of take bits of their motion and apply it to mine just to always see what will work for me. But hopefully in Atlanta, I don't know who all will be there, but some of the quarterbacks that were down in Mobile, Alabama with me will be at that Elite 11 in Atlanta. So I'm looking forward to seeing those guys again, and hopefully I'll be making the finals. But I just got to go in there and compete and do what I know I can do.
Walker, Cole Pinkston here, man. Look, I make it a point when I call other recruits, I'm like, I got to ask them about Walker White and what they've been talking about. But usually they beat me to it like, oh, yeah, been talking to Walker, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I want to know, man, because you got to see those guys in person again, several big-time guys, Perry Thompson, Sterling Dixon, some guys committed elsewhere. Tell us, man, how it went with those guys in person during A-Day.
Yeah, so honestly, y'all can call it recruiting, but what I'm doing with these guys is just building relationships. And at the end of the day, that's what's important. That's what the guys notice. And if you can just click with some guys and figure out how to be around them and kind of just give them your personality and let them see what they will get every day if they came to Auburn with me, that's like the biggest thing for them to know, because you need to work well with your quarterback. And basically what I'm trying to do with those guys like Sterling and Perry that are committed to Alabama, and Alabama's a great school, and if they go there, they're going to have tons of success. But I'm just trying to show them personally who I am and like what my morals are and like my work ethic and just how we would vibe with each other. And I feel my pitch is that we would just be one of the hardest workers together, and we'd always be getting that extra work. And I know those guys love that because if you look at where they are now, like they didn't just get here based off pure talent. Like all these guys are hard workers, and if you can have that in common with them, you can go far away or a long way. And that's just one of the things I've been trying to talk with Perry and Sterling, those guys that are committed to Alabama, and some other guys that are committed to other schools. Is you just try to you don't want to be like, man, like I really wish you would come to Auburn. No, it's not that. You just talk and you just give them your personality. And if they click with you more than other guys on the team that they're committed to, then that's saying a lot. And I feel like it's the same way with the coaching staff, because the coaching staff at Auburn does such a great job with recruiting. And I feel like they are very easy. The coaching staff at Auburn are very easy to connect with and relate to, be personal with. And I feel like that just has been and gone a long way with tons of recruits, because if you look at every recruit's quotes after they visit Auburn is, it just feels like home. Well, it's true, because they do such a good job of being hospitable and always smiling, just having a great attitude. And you can just tell that they love what they do. And it speaks volume that they show up to work with energy and the love of the game. And it's just a different feel at Auburn, and recruits can feel that. And that's just like, that's coming from the coaching staff. And now guys like me and Jamarian and Jay Lewis, the guys that are committed, Amon Lane, Martavius, like we're just trying to be relational to these other guys so they can see who they're working with and who their teammates will be.
Man, I think, what do I know? But let me tell you, Walker, I think that is perfect, dude. If you pressure these guys and you're just, you know, that's not the way. That's not, I'm looking at it from their point of view, right? I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. I don't want this guy just come to Auburn, dude. Let's form a friendship. Let's form a relationship. Let's want to be around each other, right? Don't just come to Auburn. This is why you need to come to Auburn. I don't want to hear it. Hey, man, you know, I think you're going about it in all the right ways. Building relationships, building friendships with these guys that you want to spend time with on and off the field, guys that you want to be around, guys that want to be around you. I think that's fantastic. Walker, one more time, I'll let you get back on the road, but we've seen a couple of guys already set up some official visit. Nick Marsh, the 4-star wide receiver from Michigan, is coming in June 16th. Egan Boyer, offensive tackle, is coming down from North Carolina that weekend. Jalen Crawford, 4-star defensive back, June the 9th, I believe. Mm-hmm. Have you set your official visits? Do you plan on coming to Auburn for any of these weekends in the summer?
I was actually planning on calling Coach Freeze after this call just to kind of talk through that, because I know there's a lot of good recruits coming June 16th and that weekend. But I can't really plan for that yet, because I know May 13th is Atlanta Regionals, and I know the finals are the 14th to 16th. And so I'm not planning anything, because as of right now, I could potentially be at the finals. And if I am, like, I don't want to like make a promise and be like, oh, I can't. And if I'm missing an official with all those recruits for the Elite 11 finals, I feel like that's a pretty good pitch to them. Like, hey guys, like Walker couldn't be here because he's
sorry.
I'm
balling out.
Yeah, it's a pretty good reason for not taking advantage of that official. But I will miss not potentially being at that June 16th official, but I do not know when the other dates that they'll be hosting. That's why I need to call Coach Freeze and talk through that.
That regional, what's the date on that regional in Atlanta? May 11th?
May 13th.
May 13th, that's what I said. and then the finals would be the 14th through the 16th.
Yes, sir.
Is that still in Atlanta, or is that back out west?
It's June. The finals are in June 14th to 16th, and that would be in California.
In LA.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Hey, and listen, I'm glad you've got your priorities straight, and you called into the show before you call Hugh Freeze.
You hit my point.
Hey, you know, I always got to speak with you guys. I love talking.
We appreciate it, Walker. Tell your mom and dad we said hello, man. We really appreciate you, and we'll call and check in with you in a couple of weeks, man.
Yes, sir. That sounds good. Thank you all for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Walker. Appreciate it. Hey, Walker.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm sorry, I forgot. The people in the chat want to know, what do you think about your new nickname, Heismanberg?
Yeah, I was on a podcast the other week, and I answered this question.
Oh man, well then don't
honestly,
worry.
I think it's hilarious. I love it.
Do
But,
you even know who that? Do you even know what that reference?
I can't really call myself yet because I haven't earned it. I like Heisenberg for now, but if I end up winning the Heisman, I'll take Heisenberg. But I think it's hilarious. I think I love how you're having fun with it, and
All right.
I'm all for it.
All right. Thank you, Walker. Really appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Good kid, man. Love Walker White.
Oh, yeah.
His family's awesome too, man. His dad, mom.
Yeah.
I love talking to his dad. I mean, I'm probably closer to Walker's age. But, me and his dad, for some reason, have a lot more things in common.
Jeffrey, just make sure when you see Hugh at the complex, you say, look, now, just understand where you fall on the priority list.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The calling show comes before you recruit.
Hugh's in bed right now going, who is it? What? You supposed to call me 30 minutes ago. Sorry, Coach. I had Jeffrey Lee on the phone.
Yeah, big time.
All right. Well, hey, great. Let's hit it up real quick. We got 5 questions we want to hit real quick, and then we'll end this show. It's been a fantastic show. Great questions tonight, man. Jackson Hall, do y'all think Auburn will go away from Under Armour, Jhead, 2025?
100% yes.
Knock it out. Jackson Hall said, Jhead said yes. Take it to the bank. End Times News Network. Lord have mercy. What's next? High Times. How do you feel about pitching for the men's baseball team? Oh, how do y'all feel about the pitching? It's been suspect at best, right?
Yeah.
I don't follow baseball closely. Jhead, you take this one.
It's just not deep right now. Unfortunately, the injury to Joseph Gonzalez really hurt this pitching staff. It's kind of moved guys to different roles on different nights. Getting him back would be a huge shot in the arm, but you really don't know what shape he's going to be in when he does come back. So right now, it's just in a developmental state. It's not great. You did win 2 games out of the weekend series against Mississippi State, which was fantastic, but you had to come out of a hole today to get that victory. So hopefully it'll improve going down the stretch. Look, if there's anybody that understands pitching, it's Butch Thompson. He's fantastic at that part of the game. So hopefully he'll get things figured out down the stretch. But right now, it's just not in a really good spot, guys.
My World of Sports always got some good stuff, man. Any noise on Utah State transfer at quarterback? I've heard that. I think somebody posted about him.
Yeah.
What does it say?
I think it was a typo. One of the coaches at Auburn,
Montgomery, Coach Montgomery. That's what it says. Coach Montgomery recruited him, and he spoke highly of him before picking Utah State. I saw this mentioned on the corner. Jhead, you're shaking your head.
I don't think he's what we're necessarily looking for.
Okay. All right. Good stuff, though, my world. Eric Moss, are we strengthening other conferences by not allowing players to transfer in? Shoot.
Yes.
This was another big – yep, absolutely.
Huh.
The person I spoke to today was they did not have a high feeling about the interconference schedule. It's killing them. It's killing Auburn. Coach, Auburn in better shape today with Hugh Freeze than it would be had Auburn hired Deion Sanders. Personally, I don't think. Listen, I don't think there was a better person for the job than Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
Hey, Deion might have been better for my business when it comes to recruiting, but man, I'm sorry, but Hugh Freeze all around from support from everybody, I thought was a grand slam.
I did too. He was the guy I wanted. I mean, he was the guy I picked from the beginning. I thought he was perfect. Right.
Deion's fantastic at what Deion does. But I think the celebrity coach bit at Auburn would not play overly well with people that make decisions and the fan base to a degree. I think Deion is in a perfect spot for Deion. He can be prime, okay? Yeah. And he's at his best when he's prime and he's able to do things the way he wants to do it, and there's no question at all. I think he's great for that league. I think he's good for college football. I have no idea how long he'll be at Colorado because once Shedeur graduates, my guess is he's going to be out of there. Zach's shaking his head like he knows that for a fact, so I'm going to take him at his word.
Shedeur's going to put his name in the NFL draft, and Sanders' retirement letter is going to hit the front desk of Colorado. He's coaching his son through college, and that's it. And that's why, like Auburn, you got longevity with Hugh Freeze, because we know Hugh Freeze's career is a college football coach. Deion Sanders is not a college football coach.
yeah, he's a phenomenal human being. He does great things for young men. But like you said, I think his focus is on his children. And then once he's done with that, however long it takes, I think he's probably going to be moving on. And maybe, look, maybe Deion finds himself at the NFL level. Who knows what's going to be next for him in his career? I honestly don't know. But as far as how the celebrity coach bit would have played at Auburn, all the videos and everything else, I think it would have gone over about like a wet blanket, bro.
That was a great point, Zach, though, on longevity with Hugh Freeze. It seems like a destination job for him from the beginning. It did.
Yeah, you're going to have to fight Hugh Freeze out of Auburn, okay?
Yeah. And he's so grateful.
Yeah.
He's so grateful, man. Yeah. And he loves being here, man, and his staff loves being here. I just think you couldn't have done better, and that includes the coach to the west over there in Oxford, man. I think Hugh Freeze was the absolute best Auburn could have hired, and I think he's going to be here for a long time. I think he's going to do really well.
Yeah, I agree, Jeffrey.
Wow, what a great show, man! Fantastic show. It was a great show because of all of our callers, man. We appreciate everybody. Logan got us started today. He was according to Caldwell, he was 18 into a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Then Edward got the ball rolling with the Bo Nix stuff. Edward wants his boy to come home. Full feet. You gotta love that now. Full feet called in. We appreciate him. Carter, congratulations to him. Bo from Moody, we appreciate you, big dog, always. Kevin from Wilmer, man, we always appreciate Kevin calling in, and of course Walker calling in to close out the show. Huge stuff from Walker White, man. We always love to hear from him. He's so much mature than I am most of the time, but loved his insight, man, and I hope he'll check in with us maybe once a month, man. Just call and check in with us. But hey. Great show, everybody. We really appreciate it. One more time, man, if you're looking for a house in Auburn, need to sell a house in Auburn or Opelika in Lee County, this is the one to do it. And 5-star realtor Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group didn't even get a sign up in my yard. She had it sold, or not sold, but it's under contract. I don't want to speak too soon. Jinx it. I don't want to jinx it. It's under contract, big dog. Jessica Andrews, 334-704-4442. Hey, we appreciate everybody tonight, man. We appreciate our listeners. We appreciate our callers. We appreciate everybody, man. Thank you so much for letting us do this. For Jhead, for Pink, for Zach in the back who came to the front, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay at that left lane. See ya.